All right, welcome everyone to another deep dive. Today we're all about prepping for the MS-900 exam. Think of this as your ultimate study guide, but a little bit more fun, hopefully.
Exactly. We're going to break down practice questions and give you those aha moments. So when you walk into that exam room, you're like, bring it on. I got this.
I love that energy. I'm feeling it already.
Yeah.
And look, passing this exam, this isn't just about checking a box.
Right.
It's about really mastering Microsoft 365, which, let's be honest, is basically the backbone of how so many businesses run these days.
Right. It's everywhere. It's essential.
Absolutely. So whether you're looking to level up in your career or you just want to understand this whole ecosystem better, this deep dive is for you. So let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
All right, question number 1. Picture this. A company is relying heavily on all those familiar Microsoft 365 apps. We're talking Teams, OneDrive, the whole shebang. The question is, what cloud model are they using?
All right, good one. So before we give away the answer, let's just break down the main cloud models. Because I feel like sometimes people throw around terms like IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, but do they really know what they mean?
Right. They sound very similar. Can
Yeah.
you give us an analogy or something to really make it stick?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Imagine you want to cook a meal right. IaaS is like you're renting a fully equipped kitchen.
Okay.
You got all the appliances and the ingredients, you're in control.
Yeah.
But you got to do all the work yourself. PaaS is more like a meal kit. The ingredients are prepped, the recipe's laid out, you just need to assemble and cook.
Okay.
Then SaaS is like ordering takeout, the meal's ready to go, you just enjoy it.
Okay. I'm getting hungry just thinking about that.
Yeah.
But I see the difference. So in this case, with our company using all these Microsoft 365 apps, they're definitely enjoying that takeout meal, the
Sure.
sauce model, right?
You got it. They're not managing any servers or infrastructure, it's all taken care of.
Yeah.
They just get to use the apps and focus on their work.
Okay, makes total sense. So on to question 2. This one's all about beefing up security. It asks, how can a company using Microsoft 365 strengthen their identity protection? How do they make sure only the right people are getting in?
Right. So this is where Azure AD Identity Protection steps in.
Yeah.
Think of it like a super smart security guard for your Microsoft 365 environment.
Okay.
It's always watching, analyzing user logins, looking for anything suspicious.
So like a digital detective.
Exactly.
Okay, but what would it actually catch?
Say someone tries to log in from a new device, right?
Okay.
From a different country, maybe like 3 a.m.
That's a little fishy.
Huge red flag, right?
Yeah.
Azure AD Identity Protection would be like, hold up, something's not right here.
Yeah.
It might block the login or demand extra verification, like maybe a multi-factor authentication code,
Yeah.
to make sure it's really you.
Wow. So it's like preventing a break-in before it even happens.
Yes,
Mhm.
exactly. It's not just about reacting. It's about getting ahead of those threats.
Yeah.
Which is super important, especially these days with people working from everywhere.
Right. Like on their phones and coffee shops all
Yeah.
over the place.
Yeah, exactly. You need that extra layer of security.
Absolutely. Okay. Question 3 dives into the world of Microsoft 365 licensing, which can feel like a maze, honestly.
I know, there's so many options.
So many acronyms to keep track of. This one asks specifically what's included in a Microsoft 365 E3 license. Can you break that down for us?
Yeah. Think of E3 as like the all-around good package. It includes those classic Office apps, the Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all that good stuff. Plus, you get some heavy-duty security and compliance features.
Yeah.
Even Windows 11 Enterprise is in there.
So it's a bit of everything.
Exactly. It's like the sweet spot for a lot of businesses.
Makes sense. Okay, but I remember in the past there was this thing called Advanced Threat Analytics that used to be part of E3. Is that still the case?
Good memory. You're right. Advanced Threat Analytics, or ATA, was part of older plans. But Microsoft has leveled up their security game even more. They kind of integrated it into this bigger suite called Microsoft Defender.
Okay.
So even though ATA isn't listed separately, you're actually getting even more integrated protection through Defender now.
So it's not that the feature went away, they just kind of evolved it.
Exactly. Microsoft likes to keep things fresh.
Always innovating.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that makes me feel better. So question 4 brings us to Azure Active Directory, or as the cool kids call it, Azure AD. Can you explain why this is like the heart and soul of Microsoft 365?
Okay. Imagine like this. Azure AD, it's the control center. It manages who gets access to what within your Microsoft 365 world. Users, groups, permissions. It's all about making sure the right people have access to the right things and keeping the wrong people out.
So it's all about control and security.
Exactly, like really granular control.
Okay, but isn't that a little risky? Like putting all your eggs in one basket, so to speak? What if something happens to Azure AD itself?
That's a really good question. And Microsoft takes security very seriously. Azure AD has multiple layers of protection built in. Things like multi-factor authentication and conditional access policies. It's like Fort Knox for your data.
Okay, so it's not just about having one central point of control. It's about making sure that central point is super secure.
You got it. And that central control brings a lot of efficiency. Think about single sign-on. You log in once with your Azure AD credentials and boom, you're in. You can access all the apps you need without juggling a million different passwords.
Oh, that's music to my ears. I can never remember my passwords.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
Okay, on to question 5. This one's all about using those personal smartphones for work, something I think we're all guilty of. It asks how a company can make sure that mobile access to Microsoft 365 is secure, even if employees are using their own devices.
All right, so this is where Microsoft Intune comes in. It's a cloud-based mobile device management tool that lets companies set those ground rules for how corporate data is accessed on personal devices.
So it's like IT having a little bit of control over those personal phones without being too big brother-ish.
Right, like they can enforce strong passwords, require data encryption, that kind of thing. And even if a device gets lost or stolen, they can remotely wipe it clean, poof, all that sensitive data gone.
Wow, that's reassuring.
Yeah, it gives both the company and the employee peace of mind.
Absolutely. Okay, let's shift gears for a second and talk about something that's probably top of mind for a lot of smaller businesses, cost.
Yeah.
Question 6 asks about the most affordable Microsoft 365 plan for a small business. The one that gives you the essentials without breaking the bank.
Right. So for the budget-conscious small business, we're really looking at two main contenders, Microsoft 365 Business Basic and Business Standard. Both are super cost-effective.
Okay, so what's the main difference between those two? Like, how should a business decide which one to go with?
Okay, so Business Basic is like dipping your toes in the Microsoft 365 pool. It gives you access to those online versions of the Office apps, like your Word, Excel, PowerPoint Online, plus cloud storage with OneDrive and email with Exchange Online. It's all about those core cloud-based tools.
Okay, and then Business Standard is a step up from that.
Exactly. It includes everything in Business Basic, but you also get those desktop versions of the Office apps, so you can install them directly on your computer and work offline if you need to.
Which is a deal breaker for some people.
Right. Like some people just need that full desktop experience.
Absolutely.
Plus, Business Standard throws in some extra security features like data loss prevention and message encryption.
So even though it costs a little bit more, it might be worth it in the long run if security is a big concern.
Exactly. It's all about figuring out what your priorities are.
Yeah.
Do you need that offline access? Is the extra security worth the extra cost? Once you answer those questions, you can choose the plan that fits your needs best.
This is already super helpful. I'm feeling a lot smarter about Microsoft 365 already. Okay, now let's talk about something that keeps a lot of people up at night, phishing attacks.
I know.
So question 7 asks how businesses can really fight back against phishing within Microsoft 365. What are the tools that can protect you?
All right, so this is where Microsoft Defender for Office 365 swoops in to save the day. Think of it like a shield for your inbox, protecting you from those sneaky, malicious emails.
Okay, so is it as simple as just blocking emails from certain senders, or is there more to it than that?
Oh, it's way more sophisticated than that. Microsoft Defender for Office 365, it uses multiple layers of protection to sniff out those phishing attempts. One of its key weapons is safe links.
Oh yeah, I've heard of safe links, but to be honest, I'm not really sure how it works. Can you break it down for me?
Sure. So imagine you get an email right. Looks totally harmless. Maybe it's even pretending to be from your bank or a store you like.
Okay.
But hidden in that email, there's a link that's actually a trap. Ready to steal your info or install malware. That's where SafeLink steps in. When you click on a link in an email, SafeLink steps in. It checks the link against this huge, constantly updated list of known bad websites.
Oh, wow.
If the link is safe, you're good to go. But if it's flagged as dangerous, SafeLinks will block it and warn you about the danger.
That is so important, especially these days when phishing scams are getting so tricky.
Oh yeah, they're getting very sophisticated.
So safe links, it's like that extra layer of protection that we all need in the digital world.
Exactly, like having a bodyguard for your inbox.
I like that. Okay, besides safe links, what other tools does Microsoft Defender for Office 365 have to fight back against phishing?
Another big one is safe attachments.
Oh, yeah.
Just like SafeLinks checks those URLs, Safe Attachments scans any files that are attached to emails, to make sure they're not hiding any malware or anything nasty before you open them.
So if someone tries to send me a virus disguised as a cute cat video, Safe attachments will catch it.
Precisely. It actually opens the attachment in a safe environment first. Kind of like a virtual sandbox, to see what it does. If it acts suspicious, it gets quarantined right away.
That's impressive, like a digital hazmat team.
Yeah, exactly. So you can rest easy knowing your inbox is protected.
Okay, feeling much safer already.
Question 8 throws us a curveball. It says a company needs the most hardcore security and compliance in Microsoft 365. Like they're dealing with super sensitive data and can't risk any slip-ups.
Okay, so we're talking like top-tier protection here.
Absolutely. This is where Microsoft 365 E5 comes in. This plan is like the Fort Knox of Microsoft 365.
Oh, wow. So it's like the superhero of plans.
Yeah, you could say that. It's for those organizations that need that bulletproof security. They're handling like top secret stuff, maybe health records or financial data, things that absolutely cannot get into the wrong hands.
Okay, but besides just feeling super secure, what does E5 actually offer that you don't get with the other plans? Like, what makes it so special?
All right, so one of the big things with the E5 is Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. This takes device protection to a whole new level.
Okay, I'm listening. What's Defender for Endpoint? It sounds intense.
It's like having a personal bodyguard for every single device in your organization.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It uses some really advanced tech like behavioral analysis and machine learning to constantly scan for threats. It's looking for anything suspicious happening on your devices. Blocking bad files, isolating infected devices, all in real time.
So it's like a 24/7 security team constantly patrolling your network.
Yeah, exactly. And the cool thing is it's all connected. Defender for Endpoint talks to the rest of your Microsoft 365 security setup. So if it spots a problem on one device, it can trigger alerts and actions across your entire system.
Wow. So it's not just about protecting one device, it's about protecting everything.
Exactly. It's a holistic approach to security.
Okay, so E5, it's clearly a security powerhouse. But what about compliance? Making sure you're following all those data protection rules and regulations. Does E5 help with that too?
Oh yeah, big time. E5 comes with a whole suite of compliance tools that help organizations manage their data responsibly. Things like classifying data, protecting it, making sure it's used the right way. This is crucial for meeting those industry standards, like GDPR and high pay.
Right, so you're not just protecting data from hackers, you're also making sure you're handling it properly according to all the rules.
Exactly. It's about building trust with your customers and safeguarding your reputation.
Okay, I see how that's important. So give me an example, like how do these compliance tools actually work in practice?
Let's say your company has a policy that says employees can't send credit card numbers over email.
Okay.
With E5's Data Loss Prevention, or DLP, you can set up a rule that automatically blocks any emails that contain credit card info.
So it's like a safety net that catches those mistakes before they become a problem.
Right. And it's not just emails. You can apply these rules to files stored in OneDrive, SharePoint, all sorts of places.
So it's a comprehensive approach to data protection.
Okay. This is all sounding very impressive, but I have to ask, E5, it sounds expensive. Who's it really for?
You're not wrong. E5 is definitely the premium plan. It's for those organizations that have really strict security and compliance needs. Like healthcare providers, financial institutions, government agencies, places that handle super sensitive data and need the ultimate protection.
Makes sense. So it's not for everyone, but for those who need the best of the best, it sounds like E5 is the way to go.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between risk and budget.
Right. Okay, so question 9 takes us to a scenario that I think we've all had nightmares about: losing a device.
Uh-oh.
Your phone or your laptop with all your important stuff on it. The question asks how a company can remotely wipe data from a lost or stolen device so it doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
That's the worst feeling. But luckily, there's a solution for that. Microsoft Intune.
Wait, Intune? I thought that was for managing mobile devices. Does it also have this remote wipe feature? It does. Intune is like a Swiss Army knife of mobile device management. It lets companies do all sorts of things, including remotely wiping a device if it goes missing.
Oh, wow. So it's like hitting a kill switch on all that sensitive data.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a safety measure to prevent a potential disaster.
Oh, okay. But how does it actually work? Does the company need to install some special software on the device ahead of time?
Nope. As long as the device is enrolled in Intune, which usually happens when an employee sets up their work email and apps on it, the company has the power to remotely control that device, including wiping it clean.
So if I lose my phone, my IT department can just log into Intune and make all my work data disappear from that phone.
You got it. It's a pretty simple process, but it's a lifesaver in situations like this.
That's amazing. Okay, I'm feeling much better about the possibility of losing my phone now. So let's move on to our final question, which is about something that Maybe doesn't seem as dramatic as losing a device, but can be just as damaging. Preventing those accidental data leaks.
Oh yeah, the oops moments.
Exactly, like
Yeah.
accidentally hitting reply all on an email with confidential information or sending a sensitive file to the wrong person. It happens, but it can have serious consequences.
Right, those little flip-ups can turn into big problems.
So how can companies using Microsoft 365 prevent those kinds of accidents?
This is where data loss prevention comes in, or DLP for short. It's like having a super smart assistant that's always watching over your shoulder, making sure you don't accidentally share sensitive information.
Okay.
It scans your emails and files looking for things like credit card numbers, social security numbers, health records, basically anything that you define as confidential.
So it's like a digital guardian angel.
Exactly. And if it detects something risky, it can block the email or file, warn the user, or even encrypt the information before it's sent.
Wow, so it's like having multiple layers of protection against those accidental slip-ups.
It's been a blast exploring with you, and we can't wait to have you join us on our next deep dive adventure.
Until then, keep learning, keep those questions coming, and as always, may your cloud journey be filled with success and amazing discoveries.